Hello and welcome to Reason News. Today we're covering a shocking breach of US national security. The Trump administration accidentally shared war plans for Yemen with the Atlantic's editor Jeffrey Goldberg via a group chat on the Signal app. The leak has sparked outrage, legal scrutiny and questions about the White House's handling of classified information. Let's unpack the story. On March 13, 2025, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz added Goldberg to a Signal group chat called Houthi PC Small Group, which included Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and other senior officials. The chat discussed imminent strikes on Yemen's Houthi rebels, including targets, weapons, and attack sequencing. Goldberg doubted the chat's authenticity but realized its validity when US airstrikes hit Yemen on March 15th, hours after Hegseth shared operational details. Goldberg withheld specifics to avoid endangering troops but confirmed the chat's authenticity. The White House later admitted the leak, calling it an inadvertent error.
That a messaging app like Signal could be used to talk about military plans, and absolutely shocking that a journalist could accidentally be added to this group of top national security officials. And these messages that he was able to read over several days in real time start off talking about possibly taking bombing action to protect shipping in the Suez Canal. And J.D. Vance, the Vice President, is pretty sceptical because he says far fewer American ships use the canal than European ones. So he writes in one message referencing Pete Hegseth, the Defense Secretary. He says, "If you think we should do it, let's go. I just hate bailing Europe out again." And then the Defense Secretary responds saying, "I fully share your loathing of European freeloading. It's pathetic." And then the next day, the group's informed that the bombing raid has been a success and messages start flowing in. From John Ratcliffe, the head of the CIA, he said it was a good start. Then you've got Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor, just using some emojis. MAR, we assume, is Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State. He says, "Good job, Pete, and your team." Kudos to all, chimes in Susie Wiles, the White House Chief of Staff, and then the presidential envoy, Steve Witkoff, he's just got a few more emojis. It's an astonishingly casual way of talking about a bombing raid which the Houthis say killed 53 people. It's obviously a pretty big security breach as well. President Trump was asked about it earlier and said he didn't actually know anything about this at all.
Having to do with what? What were they talking about?
With the Houthis.
The Houthis? You mean the attack on the Houthis? Right. Well, it couldn't have been very effective because the attack was very effective, I can tell you that. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time.
On March 15, 2025, President Trump announced a series of airstrikes against Houthi positions in Yemen. He described these actions as decisive and powerful, aimed at safeguarding shipping routes and deterring further aggression. The Houthi rebels, backed by Iran, have been involved in a long-standing conflict in Yemen. Recently, they began targeting ships in the Red Sea, citing retaliation for Israel's actions in Gaza. These attacks have disrupted international shipping, affecting global trade and prompting a strong response from the US. Now, one may ask, why is Yemen so important to the United States? Yemen is important to the United States for several strategic reasons, including its geostrategic location, maritime security, energy interests, and counter-terrorism efforts. Now, Democrats and former officials warn the leak violates the Espionage Act, which criminalizes mishandling classified information. Representative Jim Hims called it a brazen violation of national security laws. Defense officials privately condemned Hegseth's use of Signal, a non-government app for war planning. President Trump claimed ignorance, saying, "I don't know anything about it." Later, the White House confirmed the chat's authenticity but downplayed risks, stating no threats to service members. Democrats demand accountability. Representative Gregory Meeks says it is the most astonishing breach in recent history, while Representative Jim Hims states plans to grill intelligence officials in a House Intelligence Committee hearing. Republicans have stayed silent. The incident undermines U.S. credibility abroad. Allies like Germany and France have privately expressed alarm, fearing similar leaks could expose their intelligence sharing. Experts warn the use of Signal, a commercial app, for war planning is reckless. Major outlets like Reuters and The Washington Post condemned the use of Signal, a commercial app, for classified discussions, calling it a brazen violation of security protocols. The accidental leak of Yemen war plans to a journalist is a stunning lapse in U.S. national security. While the White House downplays risks, the fallout could damage alliances, invite legal action, and deepen distrust in the Trump administration's competence. Will this spark reform, or is it business as usual? Let us know in the comments below, but also like and subscribe for more news updates. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and stay updated.